For being a big part of my life, Lord. Lord, I know I haven't always been in the right place, sitting in the right thing. But God, I thank you, Lord, for reminding me, Lord, of who am I supposed to be. Reminding me how I'm supposed to speak, Lord. Reminding me, God, that you are there with me no matter. So I just want to say thank you. And Lord, as I bring this word today, God, touch every heart in this place, God. Let someone make a not based on their neighbor, but based on their relationship with you, Lord. To give their heart and their mind to you right now. Oh God, you're the one true God. And we're thankful. Touch me now, Lord. From the top of my head to the soles of my feet. I ask this prayer now in your name, Lord Jesus. In Jesus' name I pray. And all of God's children said amen. 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 Come on, let the church say amen. As we continue to embark on this faith journey, being a five-star church, and we're looking at faith, family, fitness, amen, finances, and fellowship. It is important to recognize that God takes us in first and deals with our faith. Now, faith isn't always what you won't do. Sometimes it's what you will do. And sometimes it's all about what your propensities are and how you're going to deal with life. Nobody knows what you're going to do until you're faced with it. A lot of times we always tell somebody, this is what I would do. I've learned to just shut that up because when it happens, you don't know what you're going to do. All you can do sometimes is just call on the name of Jesus. And that is important because some of us have some what I call thunderous attitudes. Our character is thunderous. I know some of y'all know what that means, but some of us have anger issues. Some of us, it don't take much to set us off. Amen. Amen. You know, some fireworks have a long stem to it. You have enough time to light it and get out the way. Some you just got to pray you can get out the way because this foot is too short. And I've learned if it's too short, it's best to leave it alone. But when we are left alone, we burn ourselves up. Amen. I've seen people so angry, they get angry at themselves. Amen. Nobody around, they just start fussing at themselves. Because they got to have somebody to fuss with. Y'all never knew anybody that's always got to say something. Amen. Well, as we begin to look at the disciples, let me just say this again. The disciples were not drawn together out of boys and girls or boys and young men who always thought alike. They were not the good guys of society. I know a lot of people like to think that he picked all of the ones who had a halo over their head and had never done nothing. But I tell you, run from anybody who has a halo over their head and tell you that they've never done nothing. Because they cannot relate to you or nothing going on in your life. So when we look at our disciples, I want to introduce you to one named John, the son of Zebedee. Now, I don't want to sound disrespectful to Jesus, but as we have systematically considered the disciples, we have found ourselves in a position where we have to wonder about the choice of disciples which Jesus made. An example of what I mean, we have to look at the list, which comes from Mark 3:16 through 19. It said, these are the 12 he appointed. Simon, to whom he gave the name Peter. James, the son of Zebedee, his brother John. To them he gave the name Boanerges, which means sons of thunder. Andrew, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James, son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who betrayed him. Now, I don't know about you, but anyone who gets the nickname Sons of Thunder cannot be someone you expect to be a useful disciple on anyone's team. I mean, you have to ask yourself, let's be real about it, what is Jesus doing? Because the word Boanerges, I maybe messed it up, I don't know, is in the same word family as words which can be translated to mean violent, anger, or rage. Here was a young man, a disciple, who was handpicked by Jesus, and he had an incredibly violent and angry temper. How much violence and anger does he have? Well, let's read Luke 9:51 through 56. It says, at the time approached for him to be taken up to heaven, Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem. And he sent messengers on ahead who went into a Samaritan village to get things ready for him. But the people there did not welcome him because he was heading for Jerusalem. But when the disciples James and John saw this, they asked, Lord, do you want us to call fire down from heaven to destroy them? But Jesus turned and rebuked them, and they went into another village. Now I know that don't make much sense to y'all. Well, they walking with him, but they ready to call down fire. But you got to remember the hatred in which Jews and Samaritans had for each other was a hatred which spanned many centuries. If you still can't understand that kind of hatred, just go holler who that around a Falcon fan. Amen. You know, when the Who Dat Nation started talking about they were cheated out the Super Bowl. Every Falcon fan said, I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see nothing. All you can go do is sit down on the couch and watch it with us. Why don't you quit complaining and just play football? Have mercy. Amen. I still get mad about Katrina. Brought some unwanted folk up the highway, screaming, who that? Amen. But the Jews despised the Samaritans about as much as you despise the Who Dat Nation. The direct route from Galilee to Jerusalem was through Samaria. But the Jews would often go the long way around, and most Jews didn't want to be there. In many ways, Jesus was in forbidden territory. But it's not all a one-way street. Samaritans hated the Jews just as much. They were tired of being called Samaritan dogs. They were tired of being branded half-castes. They were tired of being seen as moral deviations. And they especially hated the fact that the Jews considered themselves to be a better religious stock than the Samaritans. Now, I probably can get along with that because it can rock my nerves when people think because of the church they're with or how long they've been with the church that all of a sudden they got a leg up on Jesus. So when the Jew did try and take a shortcut through the region, they would make life as difficult as possible. And that is what got John so upset. See, Jesus is the Lord. Jesus is Messiah. Jesus is a nice guy. And yet, these arrogant, half-caste, uncivilized outcasts have just insulted him. You can imagine the blood boiling, can't you? You can just imagine how his mind is in overdrive. And that is the worst time to say what you're thinking. It's at that point that many of us, and I'm sure you can, relate to John. Because sometimes it makes us upset when folk just disrespect God. Amen. When they just say things out of their mouth just half-cocked and they don't know anything about the Jesus we serve. Amen. People who never understand what it means to give a dime or a dollar always got a reason to tell you what you ought to give to the church. Amen. There are people who've never been around a Bible study but want to tell you that you got to turn the other cheek. People who walk along the journey of life and always see themselves as pulling themselves up by their own bootstrap, never known what it's like for God to get them out of something that want to tell you how to deal with life. Oh, I want to have some witnesses in the house today. To make you upset. Oh, I know some of y'all can't relate. But it's like driving yourself in the car and you're on your way to church and somebody cuts you off. The next moment you got your window down yelling all sorts of ungodly words on your way to church. Then you realize that your children in the car hear everything you say. Then you look at yourself and declare, I don't know what got hold of me. But we say some angry things that other people don't. We respond in a way that's very ungodly. I know some of y'all will holler, ouch. Because our emotion takes over. Because we believe that in situations like that, something has to be done. Because when people act like idiots, you have to help them become aware of their pathetic lies and remind them and teach them a lesson that you ain't the one. Oh, see, look at y'all. Y'all know, some of y'all know already. I'm saying you don't know who you talking to. You better go mess with somebody else, because I ain't the one to be played with. Oh, so y'all can relate to that. Some of y'all got some John inside of you. Yeah. That's why when the disciples, James and John, saw this, they asked, Lord, do you want us to call down fire from heaven to destroy them? My God, this is one angry man. He has turned this lack of hospitality, which was based on nothing more than cultural differences, into a showdown. Or should I say, shutdown? See, somebody gonna recognize that the shutdown had a lot more to do with differences than it had to be with what we have alike. Correct. Because James and John wanted the showdown to come because they wanted the place to be annihilated. Right? Some of y'all don't understand that there are some people in this country that want to annihilate other people. They don't want them to prosper and to move up in life, and they play games with their finances and want to destroy their understanding and remind them that I've got control of your life with one word. They wanted every home destroyed and burnt. That's what James and John did. But I wonder if the president wanted every home destroyed and burnt. That every man and woman and every child put to death. But it's a slow death when you look in your cabinet and you don't have any food to eat, when you look at your bill coming every day and you know a paycheck ain't coming behind to catch up with it. It's a slow death when you recognize that people are saying they're with you, but they're not signing. Oh, y'all don't want to talk to me. So they had to go a long way around.
Yes, sir.
I mean, they had to go 30 days to get back to the same thing of signing. Oh, y'all don't want to talk to me. So we go a long way around to do what is right. We got to recognize that doing what is right shouldn't take that long. So no wonder Jesus rebukes John. You can't just go around vaporizing people when they don't do something that you like. Okay, y'all don't want to talk to me again. That means you got to get off the bus with the attitude that you can't be a part of the team. See, this is not what happened, does it? Jesus does rebuke John. See, the exact rebuke is that we are not told, but after the rebuke is over, they just go to the next village and they keep on going till Jesus ends up on a cross in Jerusalem. John gets another chance. I know some of us never realize, but I want you to realize now that you always have another chance. Because when we come through life, I recognize that we all didn't come up on the good foot. That some of us came up on the other side of the track and we had to make our way through. Some of us knows what it's like till we just went through school and we got out of school. No, we weren't a valedictorian, we were just a hallelujah Victorian. We just wanted to thank God that we were able to graduate and be able to get past where we are. I know I got a few people in here that understand that life was not always good. That you had to work by the seat of your brow. If you didn't grow it, you weren't going to eat it. If you didn't sit there and know it, it wasn't going to happen. See, some of us knows what it's like to have to get up and go to work even when you didn't feel like it. You couldn't go, you couldn't lay there and be sick. And some people wonder, why do men die so early? Because most men understand, if I don't go to work, my family won't eat. If I don't go to work, there's some things that just ain't getting ready to happen. I got to make sure some things are done in my life. And then you want to know why we angry all the time. I'm angry because I shouldn't have to live my life like this. I'm angry because you don't recognize that I'm just as much of a man as you are. I'm just as much of a woman as you are. I know that we might not have the same ethnicity or the same skin color, but we still bleed the same red blood. We still wake up under the same Jesus, and we still wake up and lie down and look exactly the same. We go to the same type doctors, and my x-ray looks just like yours. Because when we were made, God made us all as one people, not as a divided to society that's going to be used as pawns the way everybody else wants us to use. We are locked in hands, arms and arms together, and if we don't make it, we don't make it together. We don't leave nobody behind. So no, I don't get it right. I might not get it right. Yes, I've been in trouble. I've been to jail. Yes, I've done some stuff. I've stole some things. Yes, I didn't always get A's on my paper. I've been fired from a few jobs, so I have a witness in the house. I messed up my finances. I bought things I should not have bought. And I pray God that will help me get through all of this. But God gives us another chance. See, we got to thank the God that He does give us another chance. The word says that He asks how many times are you ought to be forgiven. He says 70 times 7. But we understand that God says there's no reason for any of us not to have another chance. Because the truth be told, we're all witnesses of what God can do when He gives us another chance. I ought not be in a church full of people that ain't never had another chance. I ought not sit around and see anybody declare they've been so good all of their life. I need some witnesses in this house today that don't mind saying, I'm a little testimony that God can do some things because I ain't always saying some things right. I done cut some more out some days. I've said some bad things against some good people. I've made some bad decisions that affected my life. But you have to understand, it was God that made a difference in my life. It was God that allowed me to see a new way. It was God that gave me an opportunity to do things again because God is real. Do I have some witnesses in the house that don't mind declaring that God is good all the time? All the time, God is good. You broke it, but God gave it back to you to do it again. God said, I know you broke it, but I've given it back to you because I believe you learn a lesson this time. Because there was a time in your life when you didn't care about anybody or anything. There was a time in your life that you didn't think how bad the way you acted affected anybody else. But now God has shown you that there is something else in life that means more to you than just getting your drink on. That means more to you than just lighting up. That means more to you than staying out till the midnight hour. That says that I've got a good God that came into my life personally. He didn't ask me about my past, but he began to declare my future. And he reminded me that all the hell I've been through, that I can now make my life a little bit different. That I don't know about you, but that's my own testimony. But you ought to have a testimony yourself. Because if you can be honest with who you are, you can say, Mama, that used to be me, but now I'm a new being, a new breed in Christ. I'm a new creature. I'm going to get my life together. Somebody shout, yeah. It'll change your life. Watch this. I know you don't understand. Because they were called the sons of thunder. But he became known as a disciple of love. See, the same man that was once saying that I kick everybody's behind was now saying in 1 John 3 that we got to love one another. Do not be surprised if the world hates you. But we got to lay down our lives for our brothers. See, that's the attitude that John developed as he matured. That's the disciple that Jesus developed him into. And when we see that, we surely can think that if Jesus can do that for John, then there's some hope for all of us. See, Jesus did not choose heavenly angels as his followers. See, somebody out there ought to say thank you. See, somebody ought to look back into your own life and say thank you. Some of you got to look back on the lonely road you were walking and say thank you. Somebody got to go back to the bar fight you were in and say thank you. Some of you got to go back to the car accident you were in and say thank you. Some of you got to go back to the hospital emergency room and say thank you. Some of you got to go back to the bedroom and show in your bedroom and say thank you. Some of you got to go back to your co-workers that you cussed out and say thank you. Some of you got to go back to the college and talk But I'm going to get ready to hurry to my seat. But I want you to understand this, that God will turn your life around. Because let me tell you what I know. That God accused them of being dull and having little faith. Oh, I know y'all don't read it. But he looked at them one day and said, y'all get on my nerves. Y'all been walking with me, seeing every miracle that I've been doing. And he says, but you of so little faith. Because what else do I have to do for you? Can I pause for station identification? I ask you a question, what else do you need Jesus to do for you? He's got you this far, and you still ain't made a decision. He's gotten you past all the foolishness you've done, and you still ain't made a decision. So he's got to come in and challenge your faults. He's got to expose your bigoted attitudes. He's got to highlight your faulty thinking. See, I want to tell somebody here, and I don't know who I'm talking to, but let me tell you this. Life is a learning curve. So is our spiritual life. The technical term I think I want to use is sanctification. Because when you sanctify, it means that we're growing as believers. You know, where we experiment with our Christianity and learn how God wants us to live. Where we seek to put off those aspects of our lives which the Bible calls unholy. Where we learn to put on that which is holy. I just want to blow your mind right now. Because you never thought about it. What did you take off yesterday? What did you take off yesterday? I'm not talking about your clothes. Or what did you take off yesterday? What are you willing to put on today? What are you willing to let go of so that you can do what's right? See, I know one thing. I can't have the coat I came in here with and put on this robe. In order for me to put the robe on, I've got to take something off. What are you taking off? Some of you need to take off saying, I'm not so good. Some of you got to take off saying, I'm such a bad person. Some of you got to take off saying, I don't deserve forgiveness. Some of you got to take off saying, I'm sure I'm going to mess this up. And somebody got to take off with the same. Because when you're a believer, a true believer will say, so am I. Then neither do I. Because guess what? We'll all mess some stuff up sometimes. But we've got to get it right. And we can't get it right without God. See, because we don't have the right to call down anything from heaven. Because we didn't come that route. The Bible says we were born of a woman. But yet God breathed his spirit into us to make us more like him. Because let me tell you what I've learned from Romans. I'm not always the best pastor, but I serve the best God. Amen. And when I follow him, I'm following him at the cross. Because it's at the cross that my temper dies. It's at the cross where my revengeful spirit is crushed. It's at the cross where my unbridled prejudice meets an eternal end. It's at the cross where my untamed character is crucified. It's at the cross where I realize that I'm no good without God. It's at the cross where I recognize that who I was flawed in is not who I'm getting ready to grow in. It's at the cross where I can let my tears flow and know I'm still a man and go up in Christ and be the to live.
Yeah.
I want you to take off death row. Take off the shame. Take off everything you ever thought negative about yourself and put on the goodness of God. If you just look at John. John was an angry man. But in the end, he says, I cannot be angry because the Jesus I serve showed me too much love. Some of you got some parents in here that show you children a whole lot of love. But I want to ask the children in the house, why are you angry at your parents? Why are you mad with them? Oh, see, now y'all know my children, they look down. Because we have to know that they're trying their best. They don't always get it right as parents. But I can tell you one thing right now, they don't want you to go through the same hell they had to go through. Daddy, don't go home and cuss nobody out no more. Change your language. That's not godly. And it definitely doesn't make you a man because you can use cuss words. It's the man who can put the cuss word down and pick up the love word. That's the one that makes the difference in life. Show your young boys how to hug and love them. Don't push them away and don't show them love. Because they'll grow up not knowing what love really means. Mamas, don't push your daughters away. Because when you push them away, you want nobody going into the hands of that man. Because they're looking for the love that you won't give them. And you teach them wrong about what real love looks like. And they start confusing their body with love. That's why John changed his mind. And love said, it's not about what I want to. It's what I will do for God. I'll lay down my life.
Yes, sir.
For you. I might have a thunderous character, but I'm a loving disciple. And I want us to love. Can we do that? Let's give the Lord some praise. There's somebody in here today. I want to talk to the members right now. There's a member or two in here that needs to reset their life.
Amen. Have your way, Holy Ghost.
You need to reset it because you believe just as long as you have a membership at St. Paul,
Right.
that is equating to a relationship with Jesus.
Right.
Today, reset it. Flip it. To not to a church membership, but to a God relationship.
Oh, yes.
And if you're not too afraid to come and be honest, because this is not about embarrassment. What this is about right now is about doing like John did. John said, I walked with Jesus.
Yeah.
But I was still trying to kill folk.
Amen.
I was still cussing folk out. I walked with him. I still did. But Christ had to show me differently. If you're a member of St. Paul and you need to flip it, then I want you to come to the altar just begin praying because it's time now to flip the script. Don't wait on nobody else. Don't have to go around. The altar's yours. It's your relationship that's the most important piece.
Amen.
Now, if you're in this